It's Buddy Iahn with the Music Universe. I'm chatting with the one and only Ted Nugent, the Motor City Madman. And now, Ted, I appreciate you taking time to visit with us today and wanted to chat with you about some things. So if there's a question you don't like, just tell me to shut up and I'll move on.
You think I might be inclined to do that, huh?
But I think I know.
I'll tell you, buddy, nothing is sacred. I respect you journalists, and only you can stab yourself in the heart. So give it your best shot now.
I actually went to be a journalist after I stopped playing music for a while, so I'm glad I get to do this.
Well, the bottom line is I so love the music that I really admire and appreciate that there are music journalists out there, and many of whom genuinely love the music and the dynamic and the soulfulness and the expertise and the virtuosity that so many musicians put their heart and soul into. So I think we have a good relationship already.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. So we're gonna start with you're starting back on the road this summer. You got some dates starting June 23rd through August. What can fans expect when they come to a Ted Nugent concert, and do you plan to add more dates?
Well, the most important thing is that they want to bring their marshmallows, because in 2017 there seems to be more flames coming out of my ass than ever before.
Nice.
And they could probably bring some wieners and some big slabs of meat to cook on the flames coming out of my ass. No, they can expect 100% full bluntal nudity. I mean, I've got Jason Hartless on drums, a 21-year-old monster from Detroit, probably the greatest drummer that ever walked the face of the earth, and Greg Smith on bass guitar and vocals, probably the greatest bass player that ever walked the face of the earth. And, I mean, stop and think about it, buddy. Think of the songs that we get to play every night.
Oh, yeah.
Think of how every guitar player in every band in the world wishes they had a dog-eat-dog or a stranglehold or a free-for-all or a Motor City Madhouse or I Still Believe or Fred Bear or Weekend Warriors. I mean, Wang Dang Sweet Poon Tang, Wango Tango. Are you kidding me? The excitement level from the band alone is enough to cook your marshmallows at 100 yards. So the intensity of the music has never been higher. The fun factor has never been more volatile. When we rehearse, it's like a bunch of maniac kids in a garage with their first amplifiers and guitars and drums, and we just love these songs. It's so much fun to play that people can expect the tightest, most soulful, grooving band on the face of the earth with so much humor and positive energy that it might scare some folks.
Well, I'm ready to be scared on June 25th when you come through town, but
it's a guarantee.
I think one of the most aspects about it, though, that it's original and it's organic music. There's nothing that is fabricated about your style.
Well, we see a lot of stories over the years about garage bands and punk rock and whatever kind of title they want to put on it. But my music is so pure. It's so organic and so spontaneous and so genuine and so just exciting and stimulating. I mean, the grooves alone. You remember the baby boom, don't you?
Well, I'll be 33 next week, so.
Well, the baby boom. I'm the one who caused that. My music caused people to breed. My music is so sexy, it's almost stupid. I mean, so these songs and to be able to play them every night all summer, I have so many amazing songs. And with the Greg on bass and Jason on drums, I'm telling you, the best way to explain how I feel on stage is out of body. It's just so inspiring and stimulating to unleash my guitar dreams with this rhythm section that I think that excitement level is truly contagious with the audience every night. It has been for over 50 years. Are you kidding me?
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. And having just a three-piece makes it even more intimate.
It really is. And I'm 68 and a half years old. And for me to get this excited about something at 68 and a half, it's got to be cool.
Well, that's awesome. I know a lot of people are looking forward to you hitting the road again. Now, your previous record and your latest record, Shut Up and Jam, there was an 8-year gap. Are we going to have to wait that long again for new music?
Well, I really wish we wouldn't have to, because I've got some monster songs. I got killer songs that I just can't wait to share with people. But the way the industry is, I mean, when you admit, buddy, that radio policy, it's a policy on rock and roll radio that they won't play new stuff by anybody.
I hate that.
They won't play new Van Halen or new Cheap Trick or new Ted Nugent or new Sammy Hagar. They won't play new Aerosmith or ZZ Top. What the fuck kind of policy is that?
That is the most absurd policy I've ever heard in my life.
It's anti-music. It's anti-American. It's bizarro. So with that in mind, you know, you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to make a record, and then somebody gets it and everybody downloads it for nothing. No, thank you. And the radio won't support it. I mean, on Shut Up and Jam, I am so proud of Shut Up and Jam. We play songs from that record. I Still Believe, it's a monster. I Love My Barbecue. I mean, Shut Up and Jam. There's so many great songs on that record. It drives me nuts that radio ignored it like they did, but the songs hold their own, you know?
Yeah, I completely understand. I hate most of what's on modern radio. For one, it's too modern. It's just the production just sucks.
Well, somebody is in charge of making those decisions at the radio level that is absolutely disconnected from the working hard, playing hard music lovers across the country. I mean, that Ted Nugent is going on tour again in 2017. And I guarantee, buddy, I'm going to have the greatest tour of my life. Last year, in 2016, Shut Up and Jam was the greatest tour of my life. And for me to be able to say that after performing almost 7,000 concerts is a direct result of the passion and the dedication to the music, the love of the music. And unfortunately, the people in charge of radio decisions across this country, they don't love the music. They don't live the music. They don't believe in the music. So how the fuck could they be put in charge?
I completely understand that, and I support your stance on that for 100%.
But I do have some killer new songs, and I hope that I can get in the studio and record at least a few of them before the tour starts. But we might sneak some of that stuff on stage on tour this summer. But the bottom line is, the music, my classics, are so powerful. They all have such a life of their own. I mean, how do you not play Great White Buffalo every night? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, and Stranglehold, I mean...
Stranglehold, are you kidding me? It would be a crime to not play Stranglehold.
I could play that all night myself. I just love the groove and everything about it.
It's a monster. It's an absolute monster. The sexiest song in the history of the world.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, in March, you actually paid tribute to Chuck Berry. How has he influenced your music?
Well, he influenced all great music. There's not a guitar player that has ever lived that wasn't influenced by Chuck Berry. And I don't mean just a little bit. I mean a lot. The grind and the cadence and the chordal dynamic of Chuck Berry's songwriting was so contagious and so universally revered. And it drove so many people to even pick up the guitar. It had a huge influence on me because when I was born in 1948, I think Les Paul had just electrified the guitar a couple years earlier than that. And by the time I was born, Chuck Berry was already figuring out what to do with it. So the influence was inescapable. And I was blessed by God to play bass guitar for Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley in 1969. So I've been to the mountaintop of the greatest music in the world.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, what an amazing experience.
Oh, I bet. I can't imagine that. Now, is that was my next question. Do you have a favorite musical moment? Would that be one of them, I guess?
Certainly was, but I've been really lucky. I mean, I've jammed with everybody from B.B. King and Jimi Hendrix to Eddie Van Halen and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Billy Gibbons and just so many amazing musicians. I remember John Entwistle and I did a spontaneous jam session at a NAMM show years ago, and it was so inspiring to play with that caliber of world-class musical authorities that it stays with you forever. I remember when I got on stage with B.B. King and Hendrix and Al Cooper on keyboards and Buddy Miles on drums back in 1969. 28. I mean, I can close my eyes and relive the entire jam session over and over again. So I really have always been driven and inspired by music, and to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the greatest musicians that have ever lived is really quite moving. It stays with you forever.
Yeah, and that's rock and roll at its finest right there, everybody you mentioned.
Absolutely.
Now, to change the pace a bit, you're actually starring in Ted Nugent's Spirit of the Wild on the Outdoor Network. That takes fans, they already know that side of you, but that really takes fans into the life of an outdoorsman.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to counterpunch the failed education system that does not teach conservation. The insanity of political correctness that is against hunting and fishing and trapping is somehow a cruel act towards animals, which is so insane. It's indescribable how stupid that is. I mean, if deer weren't put here for us to eat, I'd like to know what they're here for. So Spirit of the Wild it's the number one hunting show on Outdoor Channel for 27 years now. Because I don't play games, and I'm not politically correct, and I don't apologize, and I don't clean up the blood of the animals that I kill, and I celebrate that I whack them and stack them and track them and pack them and hack them and give them no slack them to feed my family and to donate tons of meat, pure natural venison, to soup kitchens and homeless shelters and balancing the herd and reminding people why Thanksgiving is in November. So Spirit of the Wild is a great educational force to reckon with, and I'm very, very proud of that.
Well, you'll be happy to know I had a steak for lunch, and I enjoyed every bit of it.
Delicious! I love the dead stuff.
And that
you can't grill it till you kill it, buddy.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't kill it myself, but I'll grill it. That's for sure.
That's good. Somebody kill you. Part of that money you paid to buy it went to a guy with a knife.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about the meat. Now that brings me to my next question. Getting a little political, you're a huge proponent of America's First and Second Amendments. How important is that for you to voice that concern out there?
I will vote entirely based on Second Amendment considerations. If a person would interfere with my capability to be armed and capable of defending myself and my family, that is a bad, evil person. I guess the best, go to my Facebook right now. I got a little meme up there, buddy, that shows how we use guns to protect our president. We use guns to protect our senators. We use guns to protect our congressmen. We use guns to protect our banks. We use guns to protect our money. We use guns to protect our pipelines. We use guns to protect everything, but we won't allow guns to protect our children, and they keep getting shot.
Yeah.
So what kind of brain-dead, evil punk would force anyone to be unarmed and helpless? Right down the road from you in San Bernardino, how did those gun laws work? How about in Paris, where all guns are banned, 100% banned? Well, how did that work?
Oh, I know.
This argument is going to go down in history of one of the most insane considerations in the history of mankind, that someone believes that unarmed and helpless is a good idea. In the face of all the evidence where unarmed and helpless opens you up to whatever evil wants to do to you.
Yeah, and liberal...
So I'm very proud of my Second Amendment stance. I'm on the board of directors for over 22 years on the National Rifle Association. I haven't been unarmed since I was 17. It's a tool. It can make the difference between life and death for an innocent person. And I think anyone that would compromise that is evil unto themselves.
So what would you say to the liberals trying to take those rights from us?
Eat me. I would tell them, not a prayer, not a chance. It's not going to happen. The right to keep and bear arms is the very foundation of valuing life itself. And we will crush them at every opportunity. And we're doing a damn good job of it.
Yeah, and that brings me to say that you've been a proponent of President Trump too. How important is he to America?
Well, the most important thing about Donald Trump is that he came in with a crowbar, smashing the status quo, because status quo politics in America was so corrupt, so criminal, such abuse of power, of running amok, that it took somebody like Donald Trump to come in and stop it, and he's on the right path to stopping it. I suppose it's important to note that I will be in Washington, D.C. next Tuesday with my beautiful wife, Shemaine, and we will be having dinner with the president and his wife. And this is important because he knows that I'm a shit kicker and that I stand up for individual rights and independence and law and order and being the best that you can be and earning your own way. And that's the basic mantra of the president of the Trump presidential administration. So we're a kindred spirits.
Yeah, and a lot of celebrities don't take your stance, and you're out there with it. You just don't care.
Well, the thing is, you can, I know the term, I just don't care what they think. I really don't care what anybody thinks, but the reason I don't care what they think is because I really care about doing the right thing. And I've studied the evidence throughout history of what happens when you do the wrong thing, so I will fight against anybody who tries to do the wrong thing. So it's because I care so much that I don't care what people say about me.
It makes a lot of sense. Makes a ton of sense there.
That's one of my biggest problems in life. I make too much sense. That's why nobody tried to debate me anymore. I'll eat their family tree and shit sawdust.
I love your TEDisms. Those are awesome. And
there's no limit to them either, by the way.
I don't doubt that, because I did see that meme earlier that you posted. I was hoping you'd touch on that, because that makes a lot of sense. It makes so
much sense. Who would look at that, buddy, and go, no, we know that all the innocent people have been killed in gun-free zones, but maybe we should have more of those.
Yeah.
You got to be on acid to think like that. That's insane. How much more can guns be banned than San Bernardino and Sandy Hook and Columbine and Virginia Tech and Fort Hood and Paris? What are you going to ban them twice?
Yeah,
it's insanity. I'm sure, buddy, you've Googled my YouTube of my debates with Pierce Morgan.
Oh yeah, those are some classic debates right there.
That's classic shit, because you're not debating Ted Nugent, you're debating the truth. I don't have an opinion about the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is my right to keep and bear arms. That's not an opinion. Right. That's a self-evident truth.
And nobody can come in and change that. That's why it's an amendment.
Hallelujah.
Well, you've sold more than 40 million albums. You've had success on television. You tour quite often. You help kids out. What's next for Ted Nugent?
More of the same. All that stuff you just mentioned is so gratifying and so inspiring, especially all the charity work. My wife, Shemaine, and I work with dozens of military charities and children's charities and conservation charities, and it keeps us busy all year long. But the music is still just a monster driving force in my life. My hunting lifestyle is a monster driving force in my life. I hunt 300 days a year, and I rock and roll 100 days a year, and I'm with my family 350 days a year, and I love my dog, and I love my trucks, and I love my guitars, I love my band, so I'm a lucky man, and I'm just going to keep doing more and more of that stuff.
Well, that's awesome. We need more Ted Nugents in this world.
Hallelujah, boy. Would it be beautiful or what?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, is there anything else that you'd like to discuss that we didn't touch on?
No, I think that covered it. I just want to make sure that everybody out there knows how much I appreciate all these years of support. I'll be doing my 7,000th concert this year, buddy, and this is touring over 50 years, and the people, you look at the tens of millions of Facebookers that I have, it proves that I'm not alone, that people really love killer music like this, and they love the truth and the logic and the common sense that I unleash every day. So a big thank you to all those working hard, playing hard Americans in the asset column who stand with me for, logic and common sense. I really dearly appreciate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Ted Nugent, joining us right here at the Music Universe. Check us out online at themusicuniverse.com.